What's up, y'all? It's Jimmy coming to you guys with another video. Before we get into the video, as always, please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. And when you guys hit subscribe, please make sure you guys are hitting that notification button. First and foremost, I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. We're coming upon Christmas, which means a lot of sneakers will be dropping this month. And one model that Jordan Brand always releases during the Christmas time is the Air Jordan 11s. I know the holiday season is typically pretty nostalgic for sneakerheads. For myself, I remember getting the Black Cement 3s in 2011 or 2012 when they came out on Black Friday. I remember waiting for the Grinches to come out. I also think in 2012 or maybe 2011 with my cousins when we were watching NBA on Christmas Day. So of course, Jordan Brand is back at it with, I'll say, a pretty iconic Air Jordan 11 that they came out with this year. This model isn't a retro, and I believe it's never dropped in a high top version. This colorway does exist in a low top version, and I know sneakerheads back in the day only dreamt of this shoe releasing in a high top version. I'll definitely say Jordan Brand chose the right colorway to drop this holiday season. I'll say they never really miss with the 11s, and even if they do, for the most part, they usually do always sell out. And the crazy thing about them selling out is I know Nike usually drops like quantities in the millions or greater. So the fact that these are always selling out just shows you how much people are really rocking with the Air Jordan 11s. So getting right into the review, starting with the box. Typical Air Jordan 11 box that they normally come in. I'll say for the first 2 years when they started with the Space Jams up to the Bread or up to the Cool Grays, Breads, and Concords. I think they did all four where they had the special pull-out box. That was my absolute favorite with the plastic inserts. I mean, just the overall detail on that packaging was insane. But I will say this is probably a little bit more true to the OG form. And then moving down to the size tag. Size tag on these reads Air Jordan 11 Retro. Colors are white, varsity red, and black. These are a size 8, and from my past experience, I will say Air Jordan 11s typically run pretty true to size. And finally, getting into the shoes, I'll say at first glance, you guys, these are really nice in person. When I saw pictures of them, I was like, yo, those are pretty dope, but I'll say having them in hand completely sold me. I managed to hit on an early access pair, so I actually got this pair, I want to say, about 2 to 3 weeks ago. It was a week before Thanksgiving when they arrived on the 19th, but the official release of these is actually in December. So if you guys weren't able to hit on an early access pair, you still have a couple chances coming up. I'm telling you guys, when you guys see the shoe in person, you will be blown away. I'm not saying the quality is out of this world top notch or anything like that, but I do think Jordan Brand did a really good job on the color and shape of these. So starting with the sole of the shoe, of course you can't have your Air Jordan 11 without that translucent icy sole. And I say icy, but this doesn't really have a blue tint to it that we're normally used to seeing on the most recent Jordan Brand releases. I'll definitely say these soles don't have a strong blue tint to them. I think in some light you might see a little bit of blue, but to me it looks more clear overall. And of course on the bottom soles you're gonna have to have some traction, so you have that right there in that varsity red color. I think it's varsity red, or it might just be regular red. And of course another very iconic feature of the Air Jordan 11 is the carbon fiber plate right there. Back in the day, this was the main giveaway on how you could tell whether your 11s were fake or not. But now fakes have gotten so good, this is actually not something you can use at all. And then moving on to the midsole, you have your classic white foam midsole that wraps all the way around. And then moving on, in my opinion, the most iconic feature of the Air Jordan 11 is the patent leather that wraps all the way around. Like I said, the quality on the shoe isn't anything to run home and write about, but the overall shape, cut, color that Jordan Brand went with on this shoe is honestly, in my opinion, really beautiful. I'll say for myself, I normally am not a big fan of patent leather just because I don't really like it when my shoes look super shiny, but I will always make the exception for Air Jordan 11s just because how iconic it looks. And for the uppers of the shoe, they decided to go with a white mesh, basically very similar to what you would see on like a Concord 11. I'm glad they decided to go with this mesh for the side panel and the tongue, and not give us like some white weird suede or nubuck or anything like that. I feel like the mesh fits really well with the colorway. And moving on to more iconic Air Jordan 11 features, you have your white rope laces and you have your Jumpman Jordan. I believe that's what it says right there on the third line with the Jumpman in red. And on the heel portion of the shoe, you have a white leather. I'll say the leather does feel a little bit cheap, but I'll say for something that's mass produced from Nike, I'm honestly not too surprised. It doesn't feel terrible or anything like that, but I definitely do think this will crease after a good amount of wears. And on that white leather, you have your red Jumpman right there that's stitched in, and your iconic 2-3 in the back right there in white. And the lining of the shoe is in that cherry red. But that's all the details on the Air Jordan 11 Cherries. Now I'll show you guys how they look on feet. So I hope you guys enjoyed the on-foot look of the Air Jordan 11 Cherries. I'll say my favorite detail that I didn't even really mention is the overall shape of the tongue. I feel like in the past, if I'm not mistaken, the shape of the tongue has never really been this straight. But if you guys can see right there, it's just really well constructed. But definitely let me know down below in the comments if you guys think these are a cop or a drop. And it's gonna wrap up the video. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.